before we do that. Recording. There we go. We are recording, people. Welcome, everyone. Matt, please introduce yourself real quick. Alex, then you, and then back to me real quick, and then we'll get going.
Sure. I am the Director of Customer Success and the Product Manager for Media Analytics at Affectiva.
And my name is Alex, and I'm the Account Director here within Media Analytics.
Excellent. And hi, I'm Gabi Zuiderveld. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer over at Affectiva. Welcome, everyone. We're super excited that you all have participated in our EMPath program this summer. We're even more excited that you have some awesome projects that you're going to be presenting to us. So thank you all, and we just love your enthusiasm and your commitment over these past several weeks. It's really been amazing to see this. As a reminder, Matt, Alex, and myself, we are your judges today. Some of you might notice Rana. She's just popping into various meetings to listen in and get a feel for what's going on. I'd like to encourage everyone who's not presenting to please go on mute, including Matt and Alex, but they're on mute already, so that's awesome. We're going to do this in the following order: EMPath Titans first, then Intelligence next. Third is GASP, and last is For Vision. I'm sure you're all ready to go. I highly encourage the teams that are going to come next to just get your presentation ready because we're on tight time. We have Alex Turk here who's going to help us keep time. So Alex, the moment I kick it off, if we're up on our 15 minutes and we need to start Q&A, please interrupt and let people know we're out of time. That would be great. Also, we as judges have an online forum that we'll be filling out for each team as we go. So if you kind of see us typing and doing stuff, that's what we're doing. Honestly, we're paying attention. We just need to score as we go. So that being said, are there any urgent questions from you, or are we ready to go? Thumbs up? All right. So EMPath Titans, over to you. Good luck, everyone.
All right. Perfect. Well, first of all, huge thanks to you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch your presentation. My team, the EMPath Titans, was most passionate about Prompt 3, which was creating the future of virtual events with Emotion AI. And our solution to this problem was ultimately EffectoBot, which we'll be telling you about today. And before we get right into EffectoBot, I first want to introduce myself and my fellow teammates. So my name's Mikey. I am a high school student. I go by he, him, his pronouns, and I'm really passionate about the intersection between emerging technologies and mental health.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adar Tulla. I am a second-year college student at Oberlin College and Conservatory. I'm really passionate about computer science and programming and its intersection with social justice.
Hi everyone, I'm Roshan. I'm a rising high school senior. I really enjoy programming and machine learning, especially for social good. And I'm super excited to show you all what we've been making.
Hi everyone, I'm Jaleesa. I'm a rising sophomore at Lafayette College. I am currently studying chemical engineering and data science. I'm really passionate about energy resources and how we could integrate technology into that. But now I'm going to talk about why my team is so passionate about this project. As a presenter, it is very important for you to see how engaged your audience is. With the current COVID-19 pandemic, most events and conferences are being run on virtual platforms like Google Meet and Zoom. Using Zoom, for example, it is very hard for a presenter to see how engaged his or her audience is, making it difficult for information to be communicated in an understanding and engaging manner. With this problem at hand, imagine a Zoom plugin that gives real-time feedback to a presenter during their presentation and after their presentation. Imagine a more engaging presenter-audience interaction during a Zoom call. I'm talking about imagining how valuable this project would be to the Zoom Virtual Summit 2020. Now, in order to know more about this project, we decided to do market research. After creating a survey filled by 50 Zoom users, we realized that 98% of the people realized that this Zoom plugin would enhance their Zoom experiences. In addition to that, we talked to keynote speakers like Isabella, for example, who mentioned that she would love to emotionally connect with her audience.
Yeah, and similarly, Ria emphasized how important it is to maintain interactive presentations, especially when online.
Thanks, Russian. And after gathering all this information, we thought that this is a problem we should work on.
Yeah, so exactly as Jaleesa and Roshan were saying, we came to a problem, and that's that it's difficult for speakers to engage their audience virtually, and to actually establish an emotional connection virtually. So we broke this problem down into three main categories, the first being attention, and that it's difficult for a speaker to gauge the attention and engagement of their audience in a virtual setting. And this is also tied to the second part of the problem, which is that it's difficult to create an emotional connection virtually. And this is largely because in a virtual setting, the speaker can actually see all of the audience members. And the third part is feedback. The speaker can actually get any feedback from the audience. You can imagine that at an in-person event, the speaker would be able to see everybody's faces. And maybe if it's a technical presentation and the audience is confused, then they could adjust their presentation accordingly. So with this problem in mind, we decided to create our friend EffectoBot. And EffectoBot is powered by artificial intelligence, and he gives live updates on the level of attention, emotion, and engagement in any virtual setting.
Great. So now that Mikey has sort of introduced us to EffectoBot, I'd like to talk directly about the Zoom plugin itself and what EffectoBot will be providing to its users. So if I'm an audience member, for instance, I'll have a couple of options available here. One is I'll be able to give real-time updates. And what we mean by this is having a way for audience members to collectively gauge how they're feeling currently about a speaker. This is something that's not available with a virtual setting, as audience members can't really see each other. Second, we'll have a chat and feedback box here where audience members can type directly the reaction to what the speaker is saying, and this will be compiled for our own usage later to present to the speaker. And third, we'll also have directly built into the user interface, we'll have emoji reactions, right? So if a speaker says something really funny, I can react with using a laughing face emoji. And this is a way to encourage audience members to really engage with the speaker and provide this live feedback that we want.
Yeah, so like Adar said, EffectoBot provides these multiple options to help engage the audience, but ultimately this is the speaker's job. And that's why EffectoBot has several features to allow speakers to best captivate their audience. First off, EffectoBot provides the speaker with real-time audience engagement updates. And yeah, I know when I'm on a Zoom call, it's hard to look at more than like one or two people at a time. And so EffectoBot tries to solve this by just providing a simple to read metrics. On top of this, EffectoBot provides real-time presentation suggestions. For example, let's say I look away from the camera. EffectoBot would just give a friendly reminder for me to remember to make eye contact with the audience again. And it's really these small things which make a presentation great. And then finally, EffectoBot gives end of presentation summary with metrics from the whole call. And this is really just for the speaker to see how their whole presentation went, and so that they know how they can improve in the future. So without further ado, let us take a look at EffectoBot.
All right, EffectoBot's time to shine.
So welcome to the Affectiva Emotion AI Summit of 2020. Reaching the summit is as easy as entering the URL into any browser, and then bam, here we are. As you can see, I'm the speaker right here, and Adar is my audience. So as we mentioned earlier, we have these live engagement updates. So for example, say I smile, the emoji would change accordingly. And let's say, for example, I'm getting distracted and I look away somewhere. Well, great, EffectoBot just gave me a suggestion to look back into the camera. With all of this in mind, let's now take a look at what the audience sees.
Thank you, Roshan. So as Roshan just demonstrated, that is what the speaker will see from his or her perspective. There are a couple of interesting elements here, but let's say I'm an audience member for this demo and simulating being in the audience. There's a couple of key features here that we built into the user interface. So towards the left here, we have a little chart that is gauging the collective attention, emotion, and engagement of fellow audience members. We also have to the right, let's say Roshan says a really funny joke, I can react appropriately and use the laughing emoji here. And these are just ways for the audience to really provide that live feedback that isn't possible, virtually. Great. So now that we showed those two pieces, I want to bring us back to the third element, which is EffectoBot's report. After a Zoom meeting has finished and the speakers have concluded, EffectoBot, from sitting in the audience virtually, will be able to compile a couple of key metrics that we think will be super useful for speakers. To the left here, we have percentages. So maybe, X% of your audience was paying attention and was really engaged from looking at the textual data that the audience has also put forward. We can say that X% was really positive according to the sentiment analysis. In the middle, we sort of have a chart that is graphing different emotions over the duration of the entire meeting. As you can see, we have attention, we have joy, we have anger. And then to the right, based on what the user has said, or based on what Zoom audience members have said, we can even compile a list of most commonly occurring words. So this is just one more way EffectoBot is providing helpful information to the speaker that they can use to tailor and improve their own performance for the next meeting they may have.
Thank you, Adder, for mentioning the technical aspects of EffectoBot. EffectoBot could be used as well to raise revenue. Our main audience for EffectoBot are innovative tech conferences, for example, Affectivo Virtual Summit 2020. But in addition to that, EffectoBot will be very helpful in other platforms like education. EffectoBot will be helpful for professors and high school teachers that are trying to engage their students. In addition to that, EffectoBot will be very helpful for telehealth visits or a doctor and patient conversation, for example, because EffectoBot would enable a doctor to know how much pain their patient is going through. EffectoBot would be very helpful for a comedian who has the main goal to engage their audience, because that would help the comedian to achieve their goals.
Yeah, so as Delisa was saying, our main target audience right now is innovative tech conferences. So now with that in mind, let's look at our team's competitive advantages in the competitive landscape. So there are currently no to minimal direct competitors using emotion AI in the same way that we are. However, this doesn't mean that other emotion AI companies could be our indirect competitors or potentially try to copy or do something similar to our project. However, our competitive advantage with this is that this project is lucky enough to be affiliated with the most successful emotion AI company, Affectiva. And we are aware of Affectiva's large and very expansive network that we'd love to be able to leverage to be able to get EffectoBot in the hands of speakers at different events like Web Summit Collision. And also, thirdly, and really important, is that the time to do this is now. With the coronavirus and a lot of different events moving virtual, the demand for this type of technology is very high.
So I just had a chat with EffectoBot, and he told me that all of you are super interested. So let's talk about the future steps. First off, we need to finish the software development of EffectoBot. Today you saw the Zoom view of the audience and the speaker. We just need to make sure that these two are seamlessly integrated. After this, we need to fully set up our backend and potentially explore adding EffectoBot to other platforms as well, such as WebEx or Google Meet. Today you saw that Zoom and the Affectiva SDK were already totally integrated. And the final part of software development would be making sure that it's truly accessible on all platforms, whether that be Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, just so that everyone who wants EffectoBot can use it. After all the software development is complete, we would be marketing and selling to the big tech conferences, as Mikey mentioned, such as Web Summit Collision, and hopefully the Affectiva 2020 Emotion AI Summit. Though in the future, we really hope to expand into other markets, as Julissa mentioned earlier. the possibilities are truly endless with EffectiveBot. It can be used in telehealth and also like just all virtual conferencing software. So yeah.
So while Roshan just quickly detailed our future plans, I want to just circle back in our original business plan and detail this executive summary here. So we start off with a problem, right? We have these affectless virtual events where speakers aren't really able to engage emotionally with their audience in the way they were before in physical settings. We saw that as an opportunity, and from there we built EffectiveBot, our friendly Zoom plugin that is using machine learning to provide speakers with, you know, this emotional connection. And that's pretty much our outcome. We want a way to build that gap that we noticed. And we thought through EffectiveBot, we were able to solve this problem really well.
Yeah, so thanks so much for listening to our presentation. We'd love to answer your questions and discuss further implementation. So for the sake of the Q&A, I will leave the executive summary up. We have some appendix slides as well, just to re-jog your memory of our project.
Wonderful. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much for all your hard work in this. It was super interesting to see. I would like to defer to my fellow judges to see if they have any questions. Oh my God, now I get a notification that said this free meeting will end in 10 minutes. The meeting host needs to upgrade to a paid account. Ashleen, Rana, can you just ping Ashleen and get her to spin up a Zoom for us, or maybe
Yes.
Matt, you can do that. There's something going on here. Matt or Alex, do you guys have a question? Would you like to go first?
I have one.
Rob,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Please go on mute if you're not presenting. Matt, go ahead.
Going back to the demo, the view from the audience view, it appeared as though we had a bar graph up in the corner here expressing yeah, there you go. So we had these measures of kind of output from the Affectiva data that the audience would witness. What's the thought process in exposing that to the audience as opposed to the speaker?
Sure, yeah. So eventually we want to make this so that the speaker and the audience both can see these metrics. However, when we were thinking about our target audience, which is people at Web Summit and Collision and, you know, the 2020 Affectiva Emotion AI Summit, most audience members are probably going to be interested in this technology too. I mean, that's why they're at these tech conferences. So we thought about it in a way that was like, it'd definitely be optional for an audience member to see something like that in the future, but they should definitely have the option, because personally, you know, if I came to the Affectiva Emotion AI Summit at 2020, I would think that this is super cool.
Okay. So the intention is to have this available for both speaker and audience.
Correct.
And this graph is showing is this the engagement of the speaker? Or is this the aggregate of the audience?
This is the aggregate of the audience, correct.
Okay, all right, very good.
Oh yeah, and just to elaborate on that, right now for the speaker view, we only have the emoji, and our thought process behind that was if we just have all these numbers showing up to a speaker, like we really don't want to overwhelm them as they're speaking. And yeah, so we just wanted to make it like as minimalistic while still conveying the data.
Yeah, maybe something like have the bot kind of express when there's a decrease in engagement over time or something like that.
Right, for
Leave
sure.
it all to the bot.
We were also thinking about like having it like cap off, you know, at a certain number of notifications that you get, because, you know, as a speaker, I may not want to be getting like 1 million notifications. But then again, that's why we have the end summary too, for things that you can read after the meeting to improve your future presentations.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Do we have time for a question? Another question?
Yeah, just 1 second, Alex. 1 second. Ashleen is spinning up a new Zoom for us, so we'll switch over. And Rana, if you could ask Ashleen to give you that Zoom URL, we can put it in the chat here so that everyone that's here now keep an eye out on the chat and grab the Zoom, and we'll jump over there for the next presentation so we can continue recording. We have about 6 minutes left here. Alex, a very quick question for you, and then I have a quick question as well, and then we're going to wrap.
Okay, lovely, super focused. So I can see the value to the presenter and the person experiencing the presentation. If you say wanted to get an organization such as Zoom really on board with this, how would you crystallize, very simply to them, the benefit of adopting or using this technology?
So first, would love to mention the benefit that the presenter has and also the audience. So if you take, for example, an educational setting, it is very important for a professor to know how engaged his or her class is. There are some professors who really feel comfortable when students are happy with what they're presenting, and it's so hard to see that on a virtual platform. So I think that an organization like Zoom would want to have this inbuilt in their system, because it's going to help most schools to use Zoom, and that's a way of raising revenue as well. And also, if you think about it in the context of people that are just want to engage an audience, like comedians, for example, they would want to use Zoom for their conferences or for their events because they have real-time feedback, and that would help them, achieve their goals. So I think that depending on the audience that is going to use the Zoom platform, Zoom would definitely be willing to adopt this project.
And just to go off of that too, like engaging presentations are money. You know what I mean? Like somebody's not going to want to pay to go to Collision at home or a virtual web summit if these presentations aren't engaging. Personally, I was at Collision at home. I didn't really think it was extremely engaging, but with technology like this, I think that it could get more people to want to come to these conferences and make more revenue.
Yeah, Mikey, could you quickly go to the tech slide?
For sure. Let me go back to that.
Yeah, so as you can see in this diagram, like integrating with Zoom, like we've done this, like we've kind of joined the two. So if Zoom wanted to include this in their platform, all they'd have to do is like include this kind of box. So they just have to like bake it into their software, and it would be like super easy for end users to use.
So tell me a bit more about it. That was my last question, actually. How did you integrate this into Zoom? Does Zoom have an API, or how does it plug in?
Oh yeah, for sure. So in the Zoom SDK, you can access the, like as you saw in the browser, you can like manually access all those browser elements. So you can get the video streams from all the users, and then so then each person's video stream is fed into this machine learning layer, which we call EffectoBot. And so yeah, we kind of took an edge computing approach where this is running on Zoom on everyone's computer. So then in real time, it's all being uploaded to like a database or backend. And like then at the end, that allows for the speaker report to be generated.
So that's interesting. The Zoom SDK actually allows access to the video stream.
Hey, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but just to let you know, the 20-minute period has ended.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, EMPath Titans, for your excellent work and excellent presentation. Very much appreciated. Everyone, have a look at the chat now, please. Rana just posted a new Zoom URL. Please grab that. We are going to be jumping over that because apparently this Zoom here is going to time out in 2 minutes. We don't want that happening. So I'll just give everyone a minute here to jump over to the next Zoom. We have 24 people here total. Okay, I see people leaving. I'll leave this open to make sure everyone's jumped over to the next Zoom. Great. Jason might not have seen that. Sarah, please jump over to the new Zoom. All right. Excellent. All right, I will close out this meeting. Thank you, Rana. Rana, would you mind actually slacking Jason Radis with this new Zoom?